My friends, what a day, what a week, what a month, what a season. I'm Father Brian O'Brien. You are listening to the Pastors of Pain. I'm here with my friend Father Kerry Wakulich.
What? You started without me.
I'm the pastor at St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, West Side, Stillwater. Father Kerry is at St. John Catholic Student Center. Is it your bill?
Jay. Jay's our producer. We have a producer.
We've been talking about it for weeks, and you still haven't.
May 7th, it's getting knocked down. And May 7th is our last Wednesday candlelight mass. We're going to invite hundreds of people to it. May 7th, we're
vaccinated people.
May 7th, we're hauling the altar, the baptismal font, the crucifix, the side altars, and they're going to a poor parish on the east side of the state of Oklahoma over by Tahlequah. And then we're doing a decommissioning.
That's very nice of you.
Deconsecrating ceremony. And then people are going to go through and write little love notes to St. John Catholic Church.
Oh.
And then we're going to sing my favorite Advent song. It's usually the song on the third week of Advent. You may know it.
This is the third week of Advent.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Then we should be singing this at Mass because it deals with the readings from the third week of Advent.
Deck the halls?
No. I came in like a wrecking ball.
Oh.
Because that's what Jesus does. He's like... the season of Advent is all about...
He's a wrecking ball to your sin.
I know. He's going to, on the last day, like Advent, as we prepare for Christmas.
That would preach.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to come in. He's on the last day, he's not going to come in as like your pal or your friend. Jesus is going to come in like
the first preface of Advent, that he would come in glory and majesty.
Uh-huh. And like there's prayers like to expel the corruption out of our lives. That's what Advent, the season of Advent.
Wow.
And so on May 8th, we're going to come in like a wrecking ball, just like Miley Cyrus, except we're going to put Jesus on the wrecking ball. Oh. And he's going to swing in. That's Kelly Steichen. She gave me that little image a couple of weeks ago. I sang, Jesus is going to come in like a wrecking ball, and she lost it in the middle of Mass a couple of weeks ago. And she was like,
That's hilarious.
She's like, I was just thinking of like Jesus on the wrecking ball instead of Miley Cyrus coming in. Hold on.
That's very funny. All right, so it is the third week of Advent. Advent's going well. It's going well.
I have another favorite song.
Good time of prayer.
Do you want another favorite song of Advent?
What?
You ready? It's beginning to look a lot like Advent.
We're halfway done.
Purple everywhere.
Rose today.
Rose today on the priests, but not in the streets. Because people think it's just Christmas.
So bad.
But it's not Christmas yet. Remember your episode a couple of years ago where you're like, it's not Christmas. You began everything with that phrase.
It's not. I was thinking about this the other day because someone I went to this a couple weeks ago, I went to the dentist. And I've just kept my dentist in Tulsa.
Okay.
And he's Catholic.
You want to give a shout out to him?
Dr. Mark Davis at Perfect Smile.
Oh, it's Dr. Stephen Lusk at Lusk.
Oh, yeah. Is that yours?
St. Mary's guy.
That's a good guy. Nice.
Charlene and Steve Lusk. Okay.
So Dr. Davis, I was there, and what I like about my dentist is he has crucifixes in each room.
What?
Like as you're sitting in the dentist chair, and you look up, and there's a crucifix.
Whoa.
Isn't that cool? It's a great witness. Great witness. Anyway, so as I was leaving, I made another appointment for months from now,
mm-hmm.
and the lady said to me, "Father, Merry Christmas." And I was like, "This was like I don't even think it was December. I think it was November 30th.
Who says that?
It was the feast of St. Andrew, the 30th. And I was like, did she just say Merry Christmas to me? I mean, and I get it because I wasn't going to see her. I mean, I saw her, and then I wasn't going to see her for months. And so she said Merry Christmas. And then I was thinking, wouldn't it be weird? So think about this, all you celebrating Christmas early people.
Uh-huh. Go on.
My birthday is November the 22nd. Father Kerry's birthday is January 2nd.
Yep.
What if on like December 1st, I was saying to Father Kerry, happy birthday?
You should start wishing me happy birthday.
No, because your birthday is January the 2nd. So like maybe the day before.
You got my hopes up real fast and then shattered them.
But so that's what we're doing. When we're getting all into Christmas on Halloween, right? It's not his birthday. His birthday is December 25th. You don't start celebrating people's birthdays a month or even a week early. You just don't do it.
Whoa.
I know, and people say,
Grinch.
but then when it actually is your birthday, then it's like, hey, it's my birthday, and this is awesome. But then the church gives us the Christmas season. So not only is Jesus' birthday like this one day, and then it's all over. No, it goes on and on and on for a couple weeks.
Okay.
So anyway, I just don't.
This is the other thing I love about the
early with it.
I love about the continuation of Advent.
Patience.
You want to give the Lord a gift on His birthday, right?
I do.
Yeah. And
I
so
don't know
the
about all you pagans out there.
So one about the season of Advent is that the church is trying to prepare you to give your life as a gift to the Lord on Christmas Day. One, but also Christmas is not just the celebration of Jesus' birthday. It's a reminder, as I said at the beginning, that He's going to come in like a wrecking ball. So during the season of Advent, you're preparing to give your life to God on the last day when He comes to judge the living and the dead by silly putty. No, by fire. He's coming to judge.
Where was that going?
I don't know. The word
was
silly,
so random.
The word fire was there, and the word silly putty was right before it.
Silly putty.
And my
years.
ADD HD, which HD is high definition, saw all these other words. It was like, okay, you just got to say silly putty to get it out of your brain. But that's how He's going to come. He's going to come to judge the living and the dead by fire. So Advent, if you skip Advent, you miss this fantastically incredible time to prepare to give your life to the Lord on Christmas Day and on the day that He is going to come to judge. And
in glory and majesty.
And you're purifying all the corruption out of us.
So you gave a talk at my parish.
Oh,
thank you.
yes.
Thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
You gave a talk at my parish back on December the 2nd.
Okay.
And we had never done this before, but it was kind of like, a lot of parishes, including ours, we do like a Lenten parish mission, like during the season of Lent. This year we're doing it actually the couple days right before Lent. Father John Lansrith from the Diocese of Wichita is coming the couple days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. But Advent is also kind of, it's like Lent in that it can be a penitential season, but different. It's different.
The Eastern Church calls it Christmas Lent.
Yeah, but it's not. So it's
not,
more. Yeah. It's a little more joyful and anticipatory. And anyway, but you gave a talk at my parish. We called it our Advent Night of Renewal, and I stole that title from Father Todd Nance, who used to do that at his parish in Sand Springs. And I just really like it. And so people came, which was awesome. We recorded it, and so you can actually go back and watch it if you want to. I can send it to you. Email me, and you can, and I'll send it to you. But anyway, it was really good. It was really good. It was during adoration, and I thought maybe you could give a little, kind of a little summary of what you talked about.
Okay.
Because it was about preparing for Christmas.
Yeah.
How ought we prepare for Christmas?
How good do you think my memory is? We've been friends now almost 20 years. I live in 36-hour periods.
Are we just going to tell people to go watch it and end the episode 10 minutes in?
Okay, I had no idea you recorded it.
I told you that we were going to record it.
Okay, I forgot.
We record everything because some people are staying home and can't come.
This is what I'm afraid of with recording things. As you know,
but you didn't say anything offensive.
Okay, you know what we said? What I told you all about this podcast when we started it. I worry about saying stupid things that are.
You live stream your Sunday Mass.
Oh, true.
Yeah, because your Mass. What time's your Mass at 10?
10 and 5.
So sometimes we have Mass at 8:30, and so usually I greet the people afterwards, and then usually by 10 or so people have left, and so I usually go back to my office for a little bit and just kind of get a few things done, and I'll go on and check Facebook, and there you are. So I usually will watch a few minutes of your homily on Sunday, and you didn't even know that.
Wow.
So that's no big deal.
Okay, got it.
You're afraid of saying. Yeah, I know. You've said this before, but when you're recorded, you're afraid of saying something
like Play-Doh just a few minutes ago. The word Play-Doh was stuck in my head. Silly putty, whatever it was.
But that's okay. That's what makes you. I think what makes you a good public speaker.
Okay.
There's a certain dynamism. See it that way, to your speaking style. There's a spontaneity. Because how boring is it when people just get up and just read from a piece of paper?
Boring.
You've got, and you have paper in front of you when you preach, But there's it's more
bullet points.
dialogical. There's still engagement with your audience,
Right.
per se,
Okay.
as there was on that Wednesday night.
Okay, so restate your question then, please, for the audience.
How ought the people listening to this prepare for Christmas? That was that was your theme in a difficult time in which we live, weird stuff going on. How does one prepare for Christmas?
One prepares for Christmas by making Christ your king, making Jesus Christ your king.
Boom.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
Moving on.
Keep going.
Remember the Feast of Christ the King was on your birthday.
I do.
By the way. Yeah. So the Feast of Christ the King, how to make him your king, and to avoid the other things that want to rule you in life. There's all these other things that wish to rule you. So I started that with, if you go back and watch it, I started with like the environment Jesus comes into. That we talked about the genealogy of the Gospel of Matthew, of the environment he comes in, where there's this guy named Herod. And Herod is an Edomite. He's a fake king, but he's killed. He's literally gone down and found everybody of the line of David. That's why the Gospel of Matthew begins with the line of David, because Herod went down the line of David and basically killed everybody who had a hereditary seed of the line of David. That's why that reading for the prophet Isaiah is that it was a shoot shall sprout from the stump of Jesse. That they're waiting for the king, but the kingdom looks like it's demoralized because it's been cut down to the ground, and the sprout's going to come. So, one, seeing that the kings of this world, the rulers of this world, are not going to help you on the way to salvation.
Yep.
Because, as it says with Herod, it says, all of Jerusalem and Herod tremble in fear when they hear the three kings announce that there's a newborn king of the Jews. So second, how to prepare is to get fear out of your life.
Oh.
To get fear out of your life, because fear prevents us from going to meet the Lord.
Perfect love casts out fear.
Perfect love casts out of fear. A second thing is to know the Old Testament. That during the season of Advent and during the season of Christmas, which lasts longer than Advent, is to take the readings from Mass and read them.
Where can you find those?
You can go to USCCB Daily Readings, or you can find The Word Among Us.
We have it. At my parish, we have these booklets out for people to take.
So just take them every week and go back, and maybe that week read the readings from that week to get to know the King.
That should be, I think, a part of every Catholic's regular life.
Reading the reading.
You should not go to Mass, ideally, not go to Mass Sunday and be like, oh, that's the reading today. There should be some familiarity ahead of time, because you'll understand them better when they're proclaimed. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So to spend time with the Word of God, because the religious people of Jerusalem, they knew the Scriptures, because they said, Herod says, "Where's the newborn king to be born?" And they said, "In Bethlehem, the house of David, the house of bread."
Yeah. They knew it.
But no one went.
Oh.
You can know all this knowledge, but is it going to put you into action to go and worship the King? And the answer is no. And so that was a point. How do we prepare for Christmas? How do we get to know the Lord? And it's by worshiping the King, by knowing who the King is, by knowing who the true King is, and who is the fake king, and rejecting the fake king. Then come up with some practical things that everybody in our culture has, in a way, especially in the modern era, we think that they're
you challenged people a little bit.
Yeah,
I like that.
We think oh my gosh, we're in a particular time when we've never been persecuted like this, and the answer is rubbish. Rubbish. I watched in preparation for this.
When was the last time you know someone who was killed for the faith? I mean, we would say in Oklahoma, like Stanley Rother.
Yeah, no one.
But most people don't know anyone,
right?
Or do you know anyone who's ever been tortured for the faith, right? But in generations past, you would know somebody. So
I watched the movie A Man for All Seasons.
Ooh,
which is about who?
St. Thomas More.
St. Thomas More. So I watched The Man for All Seasons. during
Patron saint of lawyers.
in November, right before Thanksgiving break. And I watched it, and there's this great line in it, and he says they're accusing him of being against the king, and he says, and let me see if I can remember the quote. He says, I am the king's humble servant, but I am God's first. To put those in right order, do not put political authorities on a pedestal of royalty, because they will come looking for their reward of your obedience. They will come and they will take from you. That's what the Old Testament tells us about kings. When the people say to God, we want to be like everybody else. We want to be, and God says, you want a king? This is what they're going to do. They're going to take your sons for battle. They're going to take your cattle for food. They're going to take from your land. They're going to tax you. Do you want a king? And they're like, give us a king. And he says, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting me.
And I love, like in St. Thomas More, he was a lay person. He was a lawyer, a scholar.
Yeah. He was the second most powerful man in England.
Yeah.
And the king said, I want you to grant me a divorce. And he said, I cannot. You've already had one divorce, and then the woman died. His first bride died. It's like, you want to do this. But what I love about the Man for All Seasons is to see the clothing of the people and the way the king acts. Because we think, oh, the king was just so normal. The way he's portrayed is a bipolar schizophrenic man who is always on up and downs and downs and downs. And so he's sitting there in one scene with Thomas More, and he's like talking to him like he's their pals. Oh, Thomas! Yes. And they're like, has he put Thomas in this place so to manipulate him? And the answer is yes. But Thomas has this very clear understanding that he is the servant of the king, but God's first.
Yep.
Okay, so that. Then also to come up with a battle cry, to come up with a prayer, to come up with something that puts you back in right order. When your mind starts wandering off, because we watch the news a lot, and people watch the news and the news and the news, and then they call me and they say, I'm really upset at the Pope. I'm really upset at our government. I'm really upset at our politicians. I'm really upset at our pastor. I'm really upset at everybody. And it's like, whoa, what happened?
Easy, big fella.
Easy. So I instructed them to get a battle cry.
To get a life.
Yeah. Hey, you don't say the
to get the life.
Yeah.
The way, the truth, and the life.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's what I meant.
So I brought in a guy named Miguel Pro. Not because he's a pro, he's an expert, but his name was Miguel Pro. He was a priest. He was a Jesuit, and he lived in Mexico in the 1920s. When the communists were raging in Mexico, there were priest hunters. If you ever go when I lived in Mexico in Guadalajara, I would take people, other students, on tours because, as a phrase they said, you have pato de pies, you have dog feet, Wakulich. You would walk around all over. I mean, I would walk probably 20 or 30,000 steps a day just going through the city. And in the civic building, as you go up the stairs, there's this mural of the communists on one side and the bishops on the other in this fierce battle in the 1920s. I mean, Guadalajara was richly filled with martyrs, just like the Church of the Sacred Heart in Paris is called Montmartre, the Mount of the Martyrs. So too is part of Guadalajara called the section of the Martyrs. And Miguel Pro, when arrested, they were like, okay, we're going to bind you and blindfold you. He's like, you don't need to blind me. You don't need to blindfold me. You don't need to tie me up. They took him there and they put him up in front of a log. You can go and see the picture. And on the day of his feast day, the day of his feast day, which is your birthday, is the martyrdom of Miguel Pro. He was shot
the next day, 23rd.
He was shot on
November
the 23rd.
23rd,
Yeah.
yep.
But his battle cry, which
1927.
his battle cry was what?
Viva Cristo Rey.
Viva Cristo Rey.
Long
Live
live Christ the King.
And what that did then for the nation of Mexico is it started a religious revolution.
We are not going to take this anymore.
And so I think people need a prayer to basically proclaim Jesus Christ to our world, because right now I think a lot of people say they're Christians, and it's like, well, we're Christians. We don't worship God, but we call ourselves Christians. We may follow some Christian moral teaching. We may we may know some of the 10 Commandments, but not them all. We don't know anything about the Old Testament. We don't know anything about the Gospels. But we need to come up with a battle cry. But we have to live that battle cry to the point of martyrdom.
What would be an example of a battle cry? Like Viva Cristo Rey?
Viva Cristo Rey.
Oh.
Long live Christ
So you're
the King.
you're telling people to like come up with one of their own.
Yes. Or take that one.
What if I just want that one? Yeah, that's a good one.
that it's a perfectly good one.
I like this was introduced to me just recently. I love the song Rise Up, O Men of God.
Rise up, O men of God.
Yeah.
That one?
I had never heard that sung. And somebody sent it to me, and I think it was like the Mormon Tabernacle Choir or somebody singing it, but it was like awesome. And then I was talking to Father Pratt about it, and he said when he was at St. John Vianney in Minnesota, when he was in college seminary, they would sing that like all the time. That was like that was their anthem. And I love it. I love it. I mean, especially as a priest, that may not apply, but it's like, get up, let's go.
Right.
Like there is work to be done. There is a world to be conquered for Christ. And it just gets me pumped up.
And so I added to that a church that is not on mission, a church that doesn't have a battle cry, is dead.
You sound like Pope Francis.
And has become a fossil.
That's a very Pope Francis thing to say.
It's become a fossil. Like, what do fossils do? Like, look at the churches in Europe. When we I took some students one time to...
I couldn't. They were all locked.
Well, no, Saint Denis. We went to the Church of Saint Denis, who was beheaded, and they said he walked through the streets holding his head. But in the Church of the the Sacré-Cœur, when they put him in the mosaic, he's holding his head in his hand.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But you go to Saint Denis today, and what do you find there?
Tourists.
You find a pay booth.
Mm-hmm.
These churches, no one's tithing, no one's going to them, no one's worshiping the good God. Well, what are they doing? They're I don't know what they're doing, but they're charging money to get in them, because remember, the church is an organism.
It's the body of Christ.
It's a living, breathing organism. He is the vine, we are the branches, and it is alive.
Use it or lose it.
So I also mentioned that to them, but then I gave them this sort of last thing. I said, "How are you going to?" I gave them two last things. One is to sit in front of a nativity set. You know, when Christmas gets here, sit in front of a nativity set. On one occasion, a lady said, "Why do you all put Jesus on a cross? He came down from there." And I said, do you know what I said?
You were being flippant.
I said, "Why do you put him in a nativity set? He grew up and became an adult and walked out of there." And they were like, "Oh."
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
Lots of...
So to sit down in front of a nativity set and take the posture of the other people there. Because, like, the kings are bringing these treasures. The Holy Family is kneeling. Like, kneel down in front of a nativity set. And, like, put your eyes before the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Lastly, I said... A great desire for Eucharistic adoration has to be in all of our hearts.
Yep.
Because it's the host. There was a Pew poll out at one point in time when they said that 60% of Catholics don't believe the Eucharist is the body and blood of Jesus. And I said, listen here, y'all. I did not become a priest to hand out round pieces of bread. Round piece of small bread. Round piece of small bread. No. became a priest to distribute out to give out the body,
Think I
blood,
wear this
soul.
man dress for bread? Just kidding.
But that's at the heart of the priesthood is helping these people become saints. BuildingSaints.com. Donate to the New Catholic Church and Student Center on the corner of Miller and Knobloch. But that's our mission as priests, is to be shepherds, to help people become saints. And so to be in front of Jesus in the Holy Eucharist, like that is God. He says, this is my body, this is my blood. Do this in memory of me. He says in John 6, you must eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood if you want to have life within you. And how do you get that? A year later, he instituted the Last Supper, the Holy Mass, the wedding feast of the Lamb being sacrificed and offered to us to eat and drink, to not only just eat and drink, but to gnaw on and consume and to take into us. And as St. Augustine says, we got to worship him. So to go before the great Lord in Eucharistic adoration, there he is in the tabernacle, in a monstrance, and to fall down and worship.
That's why when we were organizing that Advent night, we have adoration on Wednesdays up until 7, and you made the request of like, don't end adoration. Let's have adoration during the talk. And that's what we did.
So I just mic dropped at the end. There's no conclusion.
Yeah.
I just walked down the steps.
And then I came in and did benediction.
Yeah. I said, this is our mission, is to worship the King in the Holy Eucharist. So let's do it now. Mic drop.
Tantum ergo
Boom.
sacrament. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that was good. So anyway, you can go back and watch this talk from Father Kerry. We've got it up on our Facebook and YouTube, or just email me and I'll send you the.
I can't believe I remembered all that
I'll send
stuff.
you the link. Yeah. No.
It's like as if I
Amazing.
did it like 3 days ago.
Your notes right in front of you. Yeah, that's great. And so I think to take all of you listening, take seriously these last days as we prepare for Christmas. Take it seriously. Kind of root out the materialism of the season, kind of the triviality of the season, and really embrace it. I mean, so yeah, decorate your house and all that good stuff that brings people together and brings joy. But ultimately, remembering what are we doing here? I mean, Christmas is about, the Magi come from afar, the shepherds. They come to worship. They come to put Christ at the center of their life. So that's something that we can't forget, that we can't miss out on amidst the sort of the hustle and bustle. I wonder if a kind of a COVID Christmas isn't kind of a little bit of a blessing, because we have to really focus on what's most important. I mean, there's a blessing side of all the negative and the tragedy, and
Right.
Yeah, so I hope for you it's a time of great joy.
Fantastic.
I would also say this, though, is to think about maybe somebody in your life who probably isn't going to have a very good Christmas. Think about people who have lost loved ones recently, and go and give them a call. So Christmas coming up. Let's do a quick. You're having
0.
Yeah, you're having 0 Christmas masses. We're having 7. Our Christmas masses will be
I got 1, don't I?
Christmas Eve. We're going to have mass at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
That's me, 6, right?
7:30.
I'm 7:30.
You're 6.
Ah, yes.
4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7:30, 10 p.m. in Spanish. And then on Christmas Day, we're going to have mass at midnight, 7 a.m., 9 a.m.
What time is midnight mass? Midnight. Hi. What time is midnight mass? Midnight.
It's technically called, the reason people do that is because there actually is no such thing as official midnight mass. It's called mass during the night.
Oh, what time is midnight mass?
And so like at the Vatican, I think Pope Benedict changed it because he was really old. I think the midnight mass is at 10.
Okay.
Our midnight mass is at midnight.
And then I'm covering mass at St. Anne's in Broken Arrow on Christmas Day at noon. Last year, they advertised in the newspaper accidentally, like the Tulsa World put in there, noon mass at St. Anne's. I showed up with my family, and it was me, my family, and then about 25 other people. So I got it again this year. Thanks, Father Matt Gerlach.
Well, a blessed Advent to all. Let us know how you're doing. We love you. Pray for us.
Peace.